Airshow is the highlight of Van Buren Township and a must-see for any aviation fan. Our team was lucky enough to experience the sights and sounds prior to the community coming in. We got a chance to chat with event director Kevin Walsh, a one-on-one conversation with aerobatic national champion aviator Michael GOULIAN, and a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to experience zero gravity riding the Blue Angels' C-130 Hercules, also known as the Fat Albert. With so many sights to see, it's no wonder people from all over the world come to our backyard in Van Buren. Kevin Walsh has produced the Thunder Over Michigan Airshow since its inception in 1999. He is currently the executive director at the Yankee Air Museum, a consultant on other various shows, and recently formed the Thunder Over Utah Airshow. Walsh is the president of the Northeast Council of Air Shows and serves as the regional representative on the board of the International Council of Air Shows. His father, Tom Walsh, was known as one of the foremost air show producers in North America, making this a family tradition. Here's the inside scoop from Kevin Walsh.
This event started back in 1999. It's our 17th year. In the beginning, it started just a gathering of classic military aircraft, just a few, and it started to evolve. The more aircraft we brought, the more unique aircraft we brought, more people came, and all of a sudden we had a full-blown air show in a couple of years. We never meant for it to become as big as it has, but it's really a national asset, and many air shows around the nation look to how Thunder Over Michigan does things to better their show site, and it's right here in Van Buren Township's backyard. Michael Luther and myself, we've been a team since the beginning in '99 and have built the show together in all of its 17 years, all the ups, the downs, and the trials and tribulations of putting something this massive of an event on. We will see almost 100,000 people over 2 days right here at Willow Run Airport. So it is a major event for southeastern Michigan and Detroit and Van Buren Township. We draw from actually all over the world because of the unique gathering of the type of aircraft that we have here, the vintage military aircraft. This year, Bombertown, USA is our theme, and it is one of the rarest collection of World War II bombers ever seen in the world. So we go to great lengths to bring the rarest of the rare here. So in doing that, you have people travel from Australia, Great Britain, New Zealand, Japan, because there are no other gatherings like them in the world. So again, just a treasure sitting in our backyard. Almost all the volunteers are usually within a 40-50 nautical mile range. A lot of them right here in our backyard. We have almost 600 volunteers working this event, 35 coordinators, 600 volunteers working on those 35 coordinators, and without those folks, none of this would happen.
One of the more recent attractions is World War II reenactments. These battles engross you in the sights and sounds of ground and air warfare. The volunteers and veterans use restored vintage aircrafts, tanks, half-tracks, and other equipment to bring the battle to life.
Yeah, that's become very popular. That was an idea back in the early 2000s that we actually set off to the side. And the first one that we did, we realized the entire crowd ran over to the side viewing area just to see it. So we said, we got to put this out in front. And from that point, the folks that coordinate that have done an absolutely fantastic job making it bigger and better every year. It is something unlike anything you will ever see. Talking about 200 plus reenactors, military vehicles, all from World War II, in conjunction with air support, both Allied and Access air support. So it is really a kind of a visceral experience to watch the sights, the sounds of this reenactment. The whole mission of the Yankee Air Museum and Thunder Over Michigan, it is to honor our veterans. It's to honor the folks that have served all the way back in World War II to modern day. It provides a conduit for the public to actually liaison and thank our American men and women who are serving in our current day military. There is no other conduit. You can't drive up to an air base, knock on the door and go in and thank those that are defending our freedoms. So this is the only way to do that. But in the biggest part, when we have all these vintage military aircraft together, we really are honoring everyone that has served and again have defended our freedoms over the decades.
You can peruse the reenactor encampment and military vehicle display to purchase items, or to get up close and personal with the artillery machines. The history of the Blue Angels started back in 1946, and since their formation, they have seen over 500 million fans. The Blue Angels did not start off as the F-18 Hornets we've all known to love, but they originated flying the Grumman F-6F Hellcat and transitioned through 9 different aircrafts from 1946 through 1986. To be a Blue Angel means you are elite, the best of the best. Each and every one of the crew members were hand-picked from the Navy and Marine Corps fleet.
The Blue Angels have not been here since 2011, and we have to understand there's a couple things that happened between 2011 and 2015. Sequestration was one of the big things that really, obviously quit the air show schedules with the military jet teams. But the other thing is they get applications, about 250 applications a year for only 35 show sites. So it's like trying to get into an exclusive college program where there's only 25 spots and 1,000 people are applying. So it's very rare. You gotta love them. It is extremely rare to get the Blue Angels because it's so competitive to get them. Now, since they've been here before, they know what a great site it is. They love the area. They love Buren Township. It's an easy pick for them to come back to. So again, thanks to the community, our volunteers, for making it easy when Ypsilanti and Buren Township puts in an application here to have this air show and have the Blue Angels. The Blue Angels look in their file and say, good show to go to. We want to go back. And again, we thank everybody for all their efforts in past shows to make sure that they want to come back here. And it's a favorite to Detroit. Detroit's one of their favorite stops. They tell us all the time.
In 2013, a first occurred. Captain Katie Higgins was named the first female pilot to fly the C-130 Hercules, also known as the Fat Albert.
It was only a matter of time. There has never been any sort of blockade there where it's a men-only club. It is a matter of time before there's enough women pilots that are flying in these aircraft that have got the time required to fly in the demo, to fly with the Blue Angels. You see more and more women in the services flying everything from transports to fighters to electronic warfare aircraft. You name it, run the gamut. So now you're going to start seeing more and more females on the Blue Angel team, and both Fat Albert and eventually one of the jet demonstration pilots will be a female. Again, it's just a matter of time there.
Fat Albert Airlines holds the maintenance and support crew for the Blue Angels. The C-130 may be large in size, but it's actually a tactical aircraft. In fact, the Fat Albert is the show opener for the F-18 Hornets. The flight demonstration begins with a low transition takeoff to a maximum effort climb, carrying the Hercules upward to a 45-degree nose-up attitude to an altitude of 1,000 feet. All of this to simulate conditions of a hostile environment. During the tumultuous flight, those who are fortunate enough to be a passenger will get to experience up to 3 Gs and moments of zero gravity. The demonstration comes to an end with the C-130's maximum effort braking capability that brings the massive aircraft to a full stop in less than 1,000 feet. Airshow favorite Michael GOULIAN is one of 7 people who have received all 3 of the most prestigious awards available in the airshow industry: the Art Scholl Memorial Showmanship Award, the Bill Barber Award for Showmanship, and the ICAS Sword of Excellence. GOULIAN has represented the United States at the World Aerobatic Championships on 3 separate occasions and continues to compete today. His style and focus on safety led him to co-author a series of books on aerobatics. These books are now the industry standard for training aerobatic pilots. We had the pleasure of speaking with him prior to the Thunder Over Michigan Air Show, and he shared with us his childhood, family life on the road, and what it means to be an aerobatic pilot.
So my passion for aviation and aerobatics started when I was really young. My dad started a flying school just outside of Boston in 1964, and in about 1984, when I was about 15 years old, I started working at the flying school, washing airplanes, helping the mechanics, and that's where I was first exposed to aviation. Aerobatic flying is very much a sports endeavor. And as a child, I was a golfer, a baseball player, ice hockey player, and was really involved in sports. And as I grew into an adult, I wanted to be able to take that athleticism that I had as a kid and turn it into something in aviation. And aerobatics was that. And I didn't realize that now, 25 years later, it would be my life's passion, but also my business as well. But it allows me to be an athlete. And I feel like I'm an athlete first in my life, and to be able to do it through aviation is great. You know, what keeps you grounded? My 9-year-old daughter certainly keeps me grounded. And realizing that I'm one of a select few people in the entire world that get to do this as a living, and it's something that you just can't ever take for granted. This is not something that is easy to accomplish, but it's easy to forget that it's a privilege and not your right. And I try to make sure every day that I realize that this is a privilege. I've flown in Red Bull air races and air shows all around the world, and the funny thing is, most of the things that I remember are the people and not so much the places. It really is the people that make this business special. So what's the difference between Detroit and London, you might ask? Honestly, from a pilot standpoint, there's not a lot of difference, because you're hanging around pilots, and that's the most important thing, is we all share the same passion for what we do. And then there are some venues that are different than others. So I've flown in Abu Dhabi, underneath the big skyscrapers, in England, in Ascot Raceway, which is a 300-year-old horse track, and then underneath the chain bridge in Budapest, Hungary. And those places are cool and amazing and memorable, but really nothing compares to the camaraderie that you get with the other pilots in the business. I guess I would say that where I am in my career now, it's hard to say that I have a pilot that I look up to, but it's people in general that I look up to, that strive to be great every day and do the best that they can do. And that's the biggest thing for me, is just to try to follow in the footsteps of people that tried to live their life through excellence all the time. And that's the biggest thing, is you can never stop pushing to be better, and to try to never be complacent is important as well. Being on the road is perhaps the hardest thing. So right now we're sitting here in Detroit, Michigan, and I've been on the road for 3 weeks. And I leave here Sunday night and go directly to Austria for another event, and then come right back and go to Owensboro, Kentucky for another event. It'll be almost 6 weeks on the road, and that is the hardest part. I get homesick a lot, and my daughter and my wife were not going to come here to Detroit this weekend, but my daughter missed me a lot, so we got some frequent flyer miles, and they came out, and they'll leave before the air show starts, but they're here with me on Thursday and Friday. So you just try to find bits and pieces of time together, because that's the hardest part of this business, is trying to stay connected to your family. The scariest moments for me when flying, especially in air shows, is when I was learning, or every once in a while when you do something that's not planned. That's the biggest thing, is that the way to stay safe in this industry is to do the same thing every time. Just like a musical performer or somebody on stage, they do the same performance every day and every night to stay proficient and on time. But for us, it's safety. That's what we want to do, is we want to do the same thing every time. And every once in a while, I've done something, you would say stupid, which was out of what I should be doing. And hopefully you grow from that and learn from that. So really, those are the things that stick back in your mind, is when you've done something that's unplanned, and you kind of make the hair on the back of your neck stand up a little bit, and hopefully you only have a few of those in your career. So the way that you train for this sport really is through competition aerobatic flying. So when somebody watches me fly, you'll see that it's very perfect and precise, and the airplane is not swoopy and rolly or very airshow. It's very razor's edge. Everything is very precise, and that comes from competition flying, which is flying with a coach on the ground talking to you hour after hour. No, you're a little over. No, you're a little under. No, I want it to be a little harder or a little softer. And you learn your craft through somebody watching you from the ground. And then once you take that to the air show stage, like you'll see here this weekend, it's through video analysis, and we try to make sure that the flying and the musical narration and everything all match to make a great show. Every pilot has an airplane that they feel it was made for them. When they get into it, whether it's a small aerobatic airplane like this, whether it's a F-18 for the Blue Angels or a B-17 for somebody that might be flying in the air show this weekend, it's an airplane that they just feel a kinship to. And for me, the Extra 330 SC that I'm flying, it seems like the designers thought about me when they built it. The first time I got in it and I flew it, I said, it rolls as fast as I want it to roll. It has as much performance as I need it to do. It's about the right size. It feels the way I want it to feel. I can see out of it just the way that I want to see. So it's an airplane that it feels like it was just crafted for me. And every time I get in it and I turn the key, I say, yeah, this is a great machine. That's a good question. I would say I'm not sick very often, but if I'm sitting on an airliner and I have a long way to go, usually the movie that I'll put it on my iPad would be Gladiator. It's just one of those inspirational movies of a guy trying to do great things with his life.
I'd love to talk about next year's show. We have applications into a number of different teams. We have a number of different themes that we're looking at. But as we find out what teams are available and what aircraft are available, we will then find out what our theme will be and what we'll actually do next year in 2016. But always on the docket. It's an annual event. We don't skip a year. We don't skip every year. Every other year. We are here every single year with this show, but it changes every single year. We do not bring the same acts back. We do not do the same themes. We are always constantly changing and evolving. So if you missed the 2015 show, it is something you don't want to miss again. This is an aerial event and a community event that is ever changing, ever popular, and the themes and the teams that we'll bring next year will be completely different. But rest assured, it is action from 9 a.m. to 4:30 in the afternoon. Best family event in southeastern Michigan to bring the family to. Kids, again, will be 15 and under free, so there's no charge for the kids at all in the family. Again, come out, spend the whole day with us. And there is really no event like it anywhere in Michigan.
This one? So this is the SR-71 Blackbird.
Well, it looks like it came straight out of Star Trek.
That was the one that I had the poster hanging up as a kid.